What does it mean to you shifting from traditional internal audit to risk and advisory services?
Well, traditional internal audit has tended to be about compliance with financial controls, and traditionally internal auditors reported to the finance director, and they were expected to go and look and see how things were done, make sure they were done according to the rules, and to report on that. Very straightforward. But when you talk about risk and advisory services, you're actually raising it to a whole new height, because you're looking at, are the organization's risks being managed properly? Are they managed within the risk appetite of the board? And you're also looking at whether the organization is actually managing things that need to be managed within a certain risk appetite.
Yeah, when we look at the traditional internal audit, we always kind of think of the gotcha approach, that one that's focused on financial and compliance. And that's the way a lot of our clients would see that too. And we go into this new evolution of internal audit, is looking at operational performance and consulting services that focus really on bettering the organization. We're not there just to point out the faults, but also help them and be better in the different processes, procedures that our organizations do.
Our organization as well gets the idea that there is a compliance connected to financial reporting, but they don't see the value in that as much as they do helping them add value to the organization, help them to manage their risk. A lot of the requests now are helping them to achieve their strategy. So we're looking for ways that we can incorporate the enterprise risk management of the organization into our processes so that we can help the divisions, the operations, and finance become better and help the company become better.
How did you make this transition? What was the first steps that you took?
Well, the first time I was involved in this type of risk and advisory internal audit actually goes back to 1989. And the organisation had already decided, when I joined as a junior internal auditor, that this was the way to go. And we were already providing advisory services. We were already thinking about what is the risk here. The way it developed over time, and when I became head of internal audit myself in another organisation, was again starting with the risk, but also thinking, what are the other sources of assurance? Because this was moving us out from just looking at one area to looking at a whole range of areas, and therefore at the assurances that were spread across the organisation already.
And I think it's important to note that it wasn't our decision. I think it's when I was brought into an organization to provide that new internal audit function, executive management decided this is what we want. We don't want that old way of doing things or the traditional internal audit, and they made that decision and supported it. And that's probably the key thing there, is a lot of times internal audit is not going to be leading that change, but the organization itself will.
I think my experience may have been a little bit different, where when I took over the internal audit function for my company, I was asked to go back to traditional audit and to sort of focus on financial reporting and make sure things were in order. But what happened is that when we started to work with management, they realized that there was a lot of other areas that weren't being covered, that there was other areas where we could help with our expertise in helping them achieve their strategies and their goals. And so what we started to do actually was to dabble in areas where we were told not to be in originally. And we took some of the low-hanging fruit and helped the organization see that there's more value out of internal audit just than looking at financial reporting controls.
And I think that is the point, that you have to be bold. Even if they say they only want you to do the traditional stuff, there is the opportunity to show that you're bright enough, that you've got the insights, you've got the knowledge.